In a fiery and unapologetic defense of Tamil Nadu's autonomy, Minister PTR Palanivel Thiagarajan took center stage in a high-voltage debate, slamming the central government for what he called authoritarian overreach and systematic erosion of federalism. From the contentious three-language formula to the looming delimitation exercise, PTR's impassioned arguments laid bare the growing rift between Chennai and Delhi. But is Tamil Nadu's resistance merely political posturing, as critics claim, or a principled stand to protect the state's hard-earned progress and unique identity? The answers, as PTR revealed, are rooted in decades of evidence, policy success, and a fierce commitment to federalism. In a heated conversation on India Today, Tamil Nadu's Minister for Information Technology and Digital Services, Dr. P. Thiagarajan, popularly known as PTR, engaged in a spirited debate with senior journalist Rajdeep Sardesai. The discussion revolved around contentious issues such as the three-language formula, delimitation, and the alleged erosion of federalism by the central government. The conversation highlighted the growing tensions between Tamil Nadu and the union government, with PTR accusing the BJP-led centre of authoritarianism and undermining states' rights. The debate began with Sardesai questioning whether the Tamil Nadu government and the DMK were using language and delimitation as political tools to whip up anti-centre sentiment ahead of the 2026 state elections. PTR vehemently denied the charge, arguing that the issue was thrust upon Tamil Nadu by the Union Education Minister's refusal to release funds allocated for education in the state budget. He emphasized that the DMK's stance on language and education was rooted in principle, not politics. PTR pointed out that Tamil Nadu has consistently opposed the three-language formula, advocating instead for a two-language policy, Tamil and English, which has yielded better educational outcomes compared to states implementing the three-language system. He cited the national education policies of 1968 and 1986, both introduced during Congress regimes, as examples of failed attempts to enforce the three-language formula. He argued that the northern states' inability to implement the policy effectively due to a lack of qualified teachers further validated Tamil Nadu's position. Sardesai countered by quoting Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, who stated that the National Education Policy, NEP, 2020 does not make Hindi compulsory and respects all Indian languages equally. PTR dismissed this claim, asserting that the three-language formula itself was being imposed on Tamil Nadu. He argued that expanding the syllabus to include a third language would require significant resources, including hiring and training thousands of new teachers, which would place an undue burden on the state's education system. The conversation then shifted to the issue of delimitation, which is set to take place in 2026. PTR expressed concerns that the process could disproportionately benefit northern states at the expense of southern states like Tamil Nadu, which have made significant progress in population control. He accused the central government of using delimitation as a tool to centralize power and undermine the federal structure of the country. Sardesai questioned whether the DMK's opposition to delimitation and the three-language formula was contributing to a north-south divide. PTR rejected the notion, arguing that Tamil Nadu's stance was based on empirical evidence and a commitment to equitable education. He emphasized that the state's two-language policy had produced better educational outcomes than the three-language formula implemented in other states. A recurring theme in the conversation was the lack of trust between the Tamil Nadu government and the central government. PTR accused the BJP-led centre of systematically eroding federalism by imposing additional conditions on funds, delaying the passage of state bills, and using governors to obstruct elected legislatures. He cited the example of Tamil Nadu's governor sitting on dozens of bills passed unanimously by the State Assembly, a move that has drawn criticism from the Supreme Court. Sardesai questioned whether the DMK's rhetoric was exacerbating the trust deficit. PTR responded by stating that the central government's actions, not the DMK's words, were to blame for the deteriorating relationship. He accused the BJP of using authoritarian tactics to centralize power and undermine states' rights, drawing parallels between the current government's actions and those of colonial rulers. The debate took a sharp turn when Sardesai asked whether the DMK's criticism of the central government was contributing to a divide between the southern states and the so-called Bimru, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh states. PTR rejected the premise of the question, arguing that the real issue was the central government's failure to address the developmental challenges faced by the northern states. He pointed out that Tamil Nadu and other southern states had achieved higher levels of development and educational outcomes by focusing on practical, evidence-based policies. In contrast, he argued, the central government's grand ambitions, such as the three-language formula, had resulted in repeated failures. PTR called for a focus on lifting the hundreds of millions of people in the northern states to a level comparable to the south, rather than attacking the southern states for their success. In his concluding remarks, PTR emphasized the need for the central government to function in the spirit of federalism. He called for a resolution to the ongoing disputes over language, delimitation, and state autonomy, but warned that the situation would only worsen if the centre continued to act in an authoritarian manner. Sardesai, for his part, expressed concern that the debate could further polarize the country along regional lines. However, PTR remained steadfast in his defense of Tamil Nadu's policies and principles, arguing that the state's success was a testament to the effectiveness of its approach. The conversation underscored the deep-seated tensions between Tamil Nadu and the central government, with PTR accusing the BJP of undermining federalism and imposing its agenda on the states. As the debate over language, delimitation, and state autonomy continues to simmer, it remains to be seen whether the two sides can find common ground or whether the rift will deepen further. As the debate over language, delimitation, and federalism intensifies, one thing is clear: Tamil Nadu, under the DMK government, is not backing down. PTR's unwavering defense of the state's two-language policy, equitable education, and regional autonomy underscores a larger battle, one that pits the success of southern states against the central government's one-size-fits-all approach. The question now is whether Delhi will heed Tamil Nadu's call for cooperation and respect for federalism, or if the widening trust deficit will push India's unity to a breaking point. For PTR and Tamil Nadu, the fight is not just about politics, it's about preserving the soul of India's federal structure. Subscribe to AK Matrix today for in-depth analysis, powerful narratives, and the latest updates on issues that matter to you. Hit that subscribe button now and join the movement.